What's up, Super Saiyan gods and goddesses? I'm your host, Real, and welcome to the Super Saiyan Smite podcast. I want to start off the show by saying shout out to our sponsor today's show, Dads Gaming Esports, supporting dads and men's mental health. Make sure you peep the description below after the show, during the show, whenever, and join their Discord. It'll be in the description below. Um, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe's a big one. You can see we're at 10 out of 500. I would really like to hit that 500 goal so we can start, doing some giveaways. Start paying you guys the aid that I'm really trying to work towards and like building the brand and everything. That would be a huge help. Well, enough about the show. Let's get into our guest, Clog Bean. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself really quick?
Hi. Yeah, I'm Clogged Bean. Legendary name, as you know. Thank you, OG Xbox, for those that don't know how I got that name. Um, I don't know. Basically, I'm just avid gamer, father of one as of January. Um,
Congrats.
been thank you. Been playing Smite pretty much since like 2016. I think is when I roughly started playing. I think it came out in 2015, so whatever season slash whatever you want to call that, beta or anything. I don't know. I don't remember the timelines of how it worked out, but yeah, pretty much been playing the game pretty much nonstop for the most part. I take breaks here and there, but then I got really into it about a couple years ago when I started doing my own content creating for the
Mm.
game, and one thing led to another. Created my own server, got for the Smite community, I got pretty big on TikTok, but as far as TikTok goes, not very big. Really was a roller coaster of a time frame, but I made some good memories, and I've kind of backed off of everything a little bit ever since my son was born. But here we are.
Here we are, and you already answered my first question, which was how long you've been playing Smite. My second
Mhm.
question is going to be, what got you into Smite originally?
So it was actually my younger brother. He downloaded it at one point. I think he just said, it's like a free game that he found on the Xbox store or whatever. And the funny thing is, it's like I didn't really know what a mobile was at the time. I was relatively younger. So I didn't really understand the game. It just looked really dumb. I'm not gonna lie. I made fun of him a lot for it. Um, it just didn't look fun. Every time I walk by, I feel like all I see him do is attack minions, and I'm like, this game is just straight bot simulator. And then after like a while of him playing, he finally convinced me to play, and then I was like, wait a second, this game is kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. And then yeah, one thing led to another. We started off playing. I was Poseidon carry. He was Kumbhakarna support, and that's how I learned the game.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the game looking like bad and like attacking minions, we did our last episode was all about nostalgia and like we went
Hmm.
through and looked at screenshots of all the older like map that it looked
Yeah,
bad. So
yeah.
I mean, compared to all the new games that were coming out, even like then whenever you started 10 years ago, it was still a like, huge downgrade even though the game is still going. Um
Hmm.
However, do you have a main role that you or god that you always go back to?
Jungle is hands down my favorite role. I pretty much ever since I started playing jungle, it was always my favorite. I don't love the laning phase as much. So I mean, I'd say in terms of my favorite roles, it's definitely jungle, mid, and then after that it becomes a blur. I know solo's my least favorite. Support, I honestly have a ton of fun if I have a good carry with me or like someone I'm playing with. It's really fun to play like with a friend. Carry's fine, but it's easily jungle. In terms of favorite god slash main god, that is a hard question. You might see the Thanatos poster behind me. He's for sure my OG god. Like he was my first jungler, my first god. I got to level 10. But is he my favorite? Probably not. It's probably a Wheelix or Jormungandr. I know Yorm is not in Smite 2 at the moment, but
I
I
mean,
know
not
that's also
yet.
ironic. It's also very ironic with Solo being my least favorite role. I don't know.
Right.
There's something about the big snake that I just love.
I mean, if you haven't heard the data mining yet, Jorm
I
is
haven't.
planned to come like he's like 75 or 80% done.
Let's
I
go.
know
That
it's
actually makes
pretty
me really
crazy. It's pretty crazy.
happy.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's like it's data mining, so like nothing's like set in
Mhm.
stone or anything. But like,
Yeah,
he went from like zero, he wasn't even on the list, up to like 75 or 85%.
that's
And
awesome.
then like a couple other gods like moved down. Well, and I don't think anyone can see that Thanatos picture in the back like, at all. I can see
I feel like you can see the
that.
Smite logo in there. It's sneaking up. It
Um,
sneaks up on
all
you.
right. Well, what is one thing you miss about the old Smite days?
Ooh, the old Smite days. So, to be honest, this isn't like that old because it's only like a year or two ago. But since it's Smite One, it's considered old days. So this was back when I was running my own Discord server, and this is honestly a little controversy because it honestly it was not always well received, but competitive community game nights were I loved them. I thought they were a ton of fun. It was basically what the name implies,
Mm.
community game night playing with people, but it was also like competitive. I loved it. I had a ton of fun doing it. I mean, that whole time in the server, it was kind of like what's the word, like a flaming chariot or a sinking ship, more or less. But going down in flames is basically what I was working word I'm looking for. But it was a fun ride down.
I kind of got distracted there for a second, but
You're good.
okay. I lost it. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. So how would you describe your play style in one word?
um, Act first, think later.
Act
Dare me to
first.
do it, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can
yeah, I'd
attest
say
to
that's
that.
the best way to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it because
yeah,
there's so many times where I feel like I'm playing with people and they're just like, "Why did you do that?" I'm like, honestly, my brain just turned up. I don't even know. I stopped thinking for a hot minute.
I like it. I like it. Okay. I have a rendition of fuck one, marry one, and kill one, but with Smite gods. All right. All right. And we call it here on the Smite podcast, blessed, smashed, and banished. Um,
Smashed
Blessed,
and
smashed, and
banished.
banished. And Ztan on our last episode actually picked the gods for you to pick. So
Oh, perfect.
yeah. So I'm just gonna let you pick like I'm just gonna say let you pick all three instead of like the standard where like
Hmm.
it
Just give me the guys. I'll figure it out as we
Izanami
go.
Izanami, Aphrodite, or Nua.
Well, that's easy. Banish is not me first. That's literally a corpse. So that's the easy one. And then you said Nua and Afro.
Right.
Hmm. That's a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. So it was Bless and Smash. I guess we're gonna have to go with Afro Blessed and then Smash Nua. That's what
Okay.
I have to go
Okay. I like it.
with.
And that being said, I'm gonna let you pick the next three gods for the next person. It can be any god. It can be male or female.
do
Doesn't matter.
Do you want them right now, or should I?
Yeah.
Or do
Go.
you want me to just?
Go ahead. Go ahead and say them right now, and I'm gonna type them down.
All right, Capri's got to be in there. No questions asked. Um, we'll go with Nemesis, and what would be one more good one? I was about to say Jingwei, but that would be a little sus. Throw Bari in there. Why not?
Bari.
Get a new
Okay.
god in there or new goddess.
I like it. I like it. All right. So next episode is gonna be Kepri, Nemesis, and Bari. I don't know who my next guest is gonna be, but that's gonna be a fun one. All right.
And if Capri's not smashed, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm
So
gonna be so pissed.
let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show.
Let's
And
do it.
like, I don't even think we've told anyone what we're doing today, and that's gonna be what is Smite, right?
Hmm.
Um, and don't answer that because we're gonna have a lot of questions to go through. Uh, so the intro to Smite's gonna be Bean. How would you explain Smite to someone who has never played it?
Well, I think first I'd be like, have you heard of League of Legends? Have you played a MOBA? that's pretty much what I would start with because most gamers have heard of League of Legends and have played it or at least know what it is.
For sure.
It's the same style of game, and I think some people right away they're like, "Oh, what the heck? It's a knockoff." But like every game has a genre of game
Hmm.
that they fall under. It's not like League of Legends invented MOBAs.
Right.
So they if you're going by that logic, League of Legends I think stole it from Dota, and then Dota stole it from someone else. Like it's a genre of games. It's
Hmm.
just that's the most popular in the genre. And for those that don't know what a MOBA is, I believe it stands for Massive Online or Massive Online
Multiplayer.
Battleground Arena or multiplayer. Sorry,
Multiplayer.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
getting mixed with the MMO. My bad.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
many acronyms.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Basically, I mean, I guess that's pretty self-explanatory in multiplayer online battle arena, right?
Right.
Kind of explains what it is. You're basically big map online with other people. You fight. That's the simplest way I think I could put it.
Okay. Um, I think I don't know if you wanted to continue at all, but I got some more questions. What
Yeah, keep
makes
going.
Smite different than other MOBAs?
So I would say the biggest thing, especially like because it gets compared to League of Legends all the time, is the way your camera is positioned. So traditionally in a MOBA, it's like if your map was on the ground like this, your camera is up here and your character's like running around. It's like a bird's eye view. The difference from Smite is it's third person. So your camera is like back here, you're kind of looking behind your character. And to be honest, I think that's what makes Smite so great and so beautiful as a game because it there's just something about it that makes the game feel so much more like you're so much more immersed in the game. Like I I hate that bird's eye view. It just makes the game it just makes it feel like I'm playing chess or something. I don't know. It just doesn't feel I don't feel immersed in the game at all. Like I like Smite because makes you feel really in it and like get your blood boiling. You get stressed, you get anxiety, you like get adrenaline going because you're so immersed in the game. I feel like that's definitely the biggest thing. Um, yeah, I'm gonna leave that one as that's the biggest difference of other MOBAs.
Okay, that kind of answers my next question. So I'm gonna skip down and I mean you didn't mention that Smite is based around mythologies or
Hmm.
pantheons or anything. So like is it just Greek gods or are there other pantheons?
Yeah, there are. So the reason why I didn't include it in that was because most MOBAs, I say, they usually have like their kind of like lore behind their characters. But yeah, I do think that's really unique about Smite is they're all about different gods and goddesses or warriors and titans from different lores and different pantheons
Monsters.
for
Yeah.
yeah, monsters throughout history. It's not limited to gods and goddesses, but they're pretty much just, everyone just refers to them as gods and goddesses because it's simpler and easier. And to answer your question, no, it's not just Greek. Greek is the probably has is one of the bigger ones in there. Obviously, it's just in pop culture, it's more known in general. So they have most of their characters, but they have a majority from Greek. But like, I mean, what? There's like 120 plus characters in Smite One, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 20 of them are from Greek. So it's very very diverse. But yeah, you have Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Norse, um, Slavic, Chinese, Japanese, Aztec, Mayan, Voodoo. So I mean, there's a ton of there.
Yeah.
There's more that I'm forgetting, but those are the ones rattling off on the top of my head.
And can someone who doesn't like mythology still enjoy the game?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you don't have to know who the characters are. I mean, half the characters I've never heard of. I mean, I'd say I'm relatively versed in like mythology. I do enjoy it. I know Greek and Roman, Egyptian, Norse pretty well, but I mean, like for the most part, Chinese, Japanese, Mayan, Aztec. I don't know anyone from those. Like, I guess Japanese is a little bit different, but yeah, you don't know any of those people. And personally, I enjoy reading the lore that Smite puts out about them and watching the videos because I do really enjoy lore. But that's just an extra added on if the game. If you don't care, it does not matter. It's just a random character like any other character is in a game to you. But if you like the characters and want to know more about them, like you like this, want to know like kind of like their motives for fighting, like there is that, and I think that's really cool.
For sure. I mean, um, so then what is Smite 2?
I feel like the best way to describe Smite 2 is literally its name. It is Smite 2.0. It is just the better version of Smite 1. It's still a work in progress, so I mean, there you can knock it here and there because the game, it fully launched late last year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're adding characters quite often.
Yeah,
I think
and
I'd say that's the biggest thing it's lacking is just the roster from Smite 1. But yeah, it's literally in terms of like overall mega game play, it is the same thing. It is a MOBA. You have your same game modes for the most part. They're pretty much all the same. Yeah, there's a lot of like meta differences and like enhancements to the game. You can kind of get nitty gritty about it, but like generically, it's similar. Aside from it's from a user perspective, it looks better, it feels better, and it's enhanced, I guess is the best way to put it.
yeah,
The biggest thing, like the biggest selling point, I feel like of Smite 2 that like the devs were pushing was that it was built on Unreal Engine 5 opposed to I think Unreal Engine 2. And I guess for those that don't know what that is, every game is built on I have it wrong, it was Unreal Engine 3.
mm-hmm.
My bad, my bad, my bad. um yeah, for I guess people that don't know what that is, every video game ever has been built on a game engine. Some people build their own engines. That's really difficult. Unreal is probably the most common one at this point. And it's basically Unreal Engine 5 is the newer, better version of it. It basically allowed the devs to create everything better, easier, faster, which in turn makes a better game for the consumer. So pretty much is like anytime they want to make a change, instead of having to do 10 steps, they can do 2 steps. I guess that's the best way to describe that.
Yeah. What did I do? I lost it. Okay, no, we're back. And that, yeah, I think you answered this question, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask it again. Why did they
Hmm.
rebuild the game instead of just updating Smite One?
Yeah, pretty much is like the sake of ease of managing the game. Like, I mean, there's Smite 1 was a pretty old game. It had a lot of old things, and like, to fix problems that were kind of built from scratch from the game would be pretty challenging to do. It was slightly easier to overhaul the game into a new engine so that moving forward, it's kind of like an investment essentially. They're putting a lot of time in the beginning rebuilding the game so that in the long run it's easier to manage, easier to update, easier to like I guess the best way to put it is like beforehand, like if they wanted to change the map, they basically had to change like every individual pixel for the lack of a better phrase. I don't know the exact details on it, but like where now it's like they can just paint over things super easily. Kind of like the difference.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, how much better do you think the graphics are?
I mean, I think they are significantly better. My GPU would agree.
Yeah. Or
You can
or
definitely
disagree, right?
yeah, sure. I guess how you put it. I mean, that's also I think a big thing is optimization. If you want to get nitty gritty into like game tech, um, being able to run higher graphics more optimally
Mm-hmm.
allows you to run better graphics on a lower end PC, which is really nice. Even the low graphics, like I think I was running the other day, I was playing that because I wanted to boost my frames. I dropped everything to the low settings. Everything still looks so good, and it's like in Smite One, if I drop to the lowest settings, it is straight up Minecraft out there. So I personally think the graphics are phenomenal,
Mm-hmm.
especially like the abilities they cast. Every ability is so much cleaner looking and just so much cooler.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I was gonna say something off script, but I forgot what it was. Anyway,
Unfortunate.
um, and how do you think the UI is compared to Smite One?
I
How
feel
do
like
you?
that one's really up to the person,
Mm-hmm.
individual. I like it for the most part. Yeah, I mean, I always had like I always got roasted for my UI back in Smite One
Mm-hmm.
because I had it really I had things all over the place, but I had a good reason behind it was because when I was like recording and posting TikToks, I had my items like at the center top of my screen just so that when I have to edit, I didn't have to like cut them or crop them to put them
That's
into
funny.
frame. They were already there, and
Yeah.
I got roasted for it so many times. So I mean, generally, I mean the UI is up to the individual person. I don't have a problem with um the way it is. So
Yeah. And the combat, like in game, like playing the game. Do you think it's easier to understand fights or anything, or is that a little bit the same?
I feel like it's gotten better. I feel like they're really trying to make an effort to like, especially like I feel like in Smite One, like a lot of times like ability, like visuals and sound wouldn't match up necessarily quite right. And I feel like they're really making an effort to like make to really smooth that over and have everything kind of make more sense. Where it's like you're kind of like, oh, what the heck? How did I get hit by that? Like it didn't hit me, but like because like the visuals were behind it or something along those lines. I feel like they're really putting in an effort to make that better.
Yeah, for sure. Well, now that we've kind of explained the game, so let's go over some of the game modes, and then I'm gonna ask you some questions about them. Uh, we'll go over that last. We'll start with Conquest. What is Conquest?
Conquest, for starters, I would say is the most popular game mode of MOBAs, more or less. I mean that it might be called different things, but Smite players know it as Conquest.
Mhm.
It is essentially a 5v5 game mode. So you basically choose your character and you spawn on a map on opposite ends. In front of you, you have your Titan, and there's the enemy Titan on the opposite side of the map. Basically, the whole goal of the game is to kill the enemy Titan before your Titan gets killed, more or less. The way the map is laid out is there's three lanes, known as duo, mid, and solo. Um, Sorry, brain fart.
Totally good.
There's also like a jungle in between, as it's referred to, which is basically just kind of like literally jungle's literally the best way to explain it. Just kind of like intertwining little lanes that allow you to pass in between um the three lanes and kind of run through them. So that's pretty much what it is. There's like minions that spawn from each lane over like I don't know what the time interval is, but basically they push up the lanes um to kill the Titan in one lane, at least one lane. You have to destroy both towers that are there and the Phoenix, and we can dive into what those are a little later. But
Hmm.
just know that if you're pushing through one lane, you have to get through two towers, the Phoenix, before you can start attacking the Titan. Once you kill the Titan, you win. Or force the team to surrender. That's the other way to do
Yeah.
it.
Or someone leaves and then they
Fair.
surrender. um, why do people call it the main mode, or why do people call Conquest the main mode?
It's the most popular. I mean, that's for sure. But I think the reason why it's most popular is it's definitely the game mode that requires the most skill and strategy. One, it's also like the biggest. I mean, there's other ones that have five, but like a map is the largest. So you have five people, which is most people. Yeah, and a bigger team, harder it is to communicate and work as a team. So I feel like that adds to the strategy level. Um, but also because you're like it's a big map, you got three lanes, you have a whole lot going on. It's got a like that in itself forces more strategy
Hmm.
than the other game modes that are lacking. Without
Yeah.
diving into what the other game modes are, it's kind of hard to compare it.
Right.
I think that's just big. That's the it it's the highest. It requires the most strategy and skill, in my opinion,
Okay. Yeah.
and I think most people would agree.
And what makes it harder for new players?
The fact that it requires the most strategy and skill to play. You really got to know kind of what you're doing. You can get away with not knowing what you're doing, but generally, like there's assigned roles that kind of really need to be played. So those three lanes that I talked about, there's four players that will go to each of those lanes respectively, and you kind of have a role and a job and a set strategy that you kind of need to follow. So if you don't know that right going into it, and if the other team does, you're pretty much going to be hurting your team. So it is my recommend to new players is just watch a quick video on how to play Conquest, or even if you get into the first match, just like hop in your voice chat and or just the game chat and be like, "Hey, I'm new. Help me." Usually, if you ask for help, this my community is pretty helpful. You don't ask for help, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, there's also a lot of like community like discords and stuff that
Yeah,
you might be able to find someone to help you
there's
out as a new
plenty
player.
plenty of resources out there to
But for now, that's enough for Conquest. Let's move on to Arena. How does
arena.
Arena work?
So I like to call Arena the palette cleansing game mode. It's the one I like to dive into after I've got handed a couple defeats in Conquest and just feeling down. You need a palate cleanse, hop in an arena. So what arena is? It's basically the Coliseum. You run out into the Coliseum, and you have these minions that spawn that are trying to enter opposite portals on opposite ends of the map. But the whole game is based around tickets, and basically you want to get the enemy's team's tickets to 0, and by doing that, you either get kills or get your minions into the portal, and it just counts down. First one to 0 loses. It's pretty
Okay.
straightforward. Just lots of attacking, lots of fighting, quick paced game. Respawn in really quickly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Arena.
And what should players or new players or older players? I mean, what should they focus on in arena?
um, Gods that do well early on, for the most part, because Arena is relatively a shorter game compared to Conquest.
Mm-hmm.
I try to stay away from assassins for the most part because they like to pick off people and be sneaky. They don't thrive well in arena. Um, balance have a good balance of the team. You need some support. Honestly, like you need like 1 or 2 support / healer gods, some tanks. Ranged is always nice. CC is a must. That's for sure. Having an escape is pretty nice, but it's arena. Do what you want.
Yeah, for sure.
Have fun. Go crazy.
Well, I mean, I think that covers enough in arena for now. What's Joust?
Joust is a 3v3 game mode similar to Conquest, but basically if you got rid of the extra 2 lanes and just had 1 lane with a small bit of jungle, um, although it's similar, I feel like the strategy behind it is very, very different because instead of at most 2 people, you're just 3 people straight in a lane. Being a jungler and assassin is a little more tricky. It really depends on how the Joust map is laid out. We've had a lot of different Joust maps throughout the years. Some favor jungles more than others. Um, yeah, I feel like that's the best way to put it. Just a 3v3 1 lane going head to head at each other. Destroy the Titan, win the game.
Okay, and would you recommend it for newer players?
Yeah, I definitely say Joust and Arena are definitely good games to start learning on. I highly recommend don't jump straight into Conquest. You'll be so lost. Arena's definitely the best one in my opinion. You can kind of get a feel for everything. So I mean, spend a little time in Arena and then hop over to Joust. Get a feel for the laning phase. Because like Joust is a little slower paced, even though the games end sooner than Conquest, or even sometimes sooner than Arena. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
50-50. It is a slower paced game mode because it's a 3v3.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's definitely it's a stepping stone into Conquest. That's the best way to put
Okay,
it.
and what can someone learn by playing Joust?
Kind of like I said, the laning phase is something you'll also hear a lot in Smite. Basically, it's just like when you're in lane, fighting and doing everything in lane. That's called like the laning phase. You kind of just learn how to like positioning in lane, pressing the tower, trying to get it down, sieging the Titan, things like that.
Okay. Um, and then our next mode is Assault. What is Assault?
My least favorite game mode. That's what it is.
Wow, really?
You pretty much never catch me playing Assault unless I'm being dragged into it by others. It is also a 1 lane game mode. I believe it's 1 tower, 1 Phoenix, and a Titan that you
Mm-hmm.
got to destroy. The gimmick to Assault is that going into it when you're picking your god, it's essentially random. When you first load in, you get a random god. You are able to re-roll and trade. So if say I got Hades, I hate Hades, but you love Hades, I can give you Hades, and then I can re-roll for something else. It's not entirely random either, because Smite does make sure the game is relatively balanced. Like each team will have like a healer and a support, so it does factor in a little bit. So it's not entirely random, but generally it is random.
Okay. And do you think this game mode is good for newer players?
Yeah, because it exposes you to new gods and kind of gets you off of your crutch god essentially if you have one. So that is good too. It's also I feel like Arena has the most friendliest players in it for sure. If you're bad, it's okay to be bad in
Hmm.
Assault. um, so yeah, there's definitely that. And I also this has like always been one of my biggest advice, and this is kind of not necessarily for beginners, but maybe more for like early intermediate players. Like if there's one god that you consistently face that you struggle against, and like every time you come in, you're like, "There's a nemesis. It kicks my butt no matter what." Play that god, learn that god, and then facing that god will be a million times easier.
A million.
Because once you understand how to fight with that god, you'll know how to fight against that god.
For sure. And did you mention that you can't back to your
I did
base?
not. I forgot about that little detail. Yeah, that's also one of the big gimmicks of Assault. Is yeah, the only way you can go back to buy items and essentially heal up, I guess. No, take that back. Just go back and buy items is by dying. So there's a weird strategy to like willingly die to the tower sometimes, so that you can go back and buy your items. Um, Yeah, that's another gimmick. So I mean, people love Med Cloak, at least back in Smite 1 for that. There's usually orbs on the map that give you a little health and mana, but game's
Yeah.
a little gimmicky. So if you like gimmicks, it's definitely your game mode.
Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be one of the fun game modes, so
Yeah.
it's not for everyone, as we can tell. To wrap up the game modes, which do you think a newer player should start with?
Arena.
Wait. I'm gonna go back. You said arena, but what do you know what quick play is?
I do a little bit. Very little. So please enlighten me. But from what I know, it's relatively new game mode,
Hmm.
and I think they only have arena out for it right now, and it's basically a sped up version of regular arena. But beyond that, I don't know. I have yet to play it.
Yeah, so Smite's been playing around, or high res, Smite high res has been playing around with these like quicker modes for like to like get people engaged in Smite
Hmm.
to kind of like learn the game basically. And they eventually in like are going to open up like one like quick play for each of the modes, like arena, conquest, and joust, at least
Hmm.
so far. And they're just going to be like sped up game modes. They have different like relics that you can play around with, it's like a little like maneuver, which they
Like a,
announced that they're going to be adding it to the game as a relic in normal modes now,
is it like a
which is
sideways blink?
no,
Like,
no, it's so yeah, so it's going to be like a short movement ability, and it'll work just like do you know how Bari's 3 works?
no,
How
I haven't played
how
it
it
yet.
moves you like a little bit, like you can like whichever direction you're aiming towards,
Oh yeah,
it'll
yeah.
just do a little hop, or like Pele's
Hmm.
her too.
Off stash in
Yeah,
Smite One. I
it
feel like
just
is
like
the
moves you like very briefly into a new
yeah
place. Which I mean sounds pretty cool, but like I mean
doesn't sound effective.
yeah, so they're adding it as a relic, so that way, like it, they can experiment with it. I mean, they're doing a
Hmm.
lot of cool things with Smite too. But yeah, the quick play modes are just faster pace modes that they want to introduce people into Smite, so that way people can learn the games at like a in a fun way, I guess, and not have to like
Yeah,
sit in a like a 40-minute conquest game, and
yeah.
like
If
not
you're
have
getting
fun.
bulldozed, you're not stuck for
Yeah.
45 minutes.
So I'm eager to see what they do with Joust and what they do with Conquest, because it could be
Hmm.
completely different. Could be like something fun. I don't know if I'll do it because like I'm a diehard ranked fan. So we will see. Um, and now that we've covered that, you said Arena is what you think new players could start with. Does that change with
Hmm.
Quick Play, or do you think people
I
should
think
still start
I
over and
haven't
play
played
Arena?
it, so it's hard to say. But it sounds like Quick Play Arena would possibly be the
Yeah.
best place to start because quick repetitions. You it's you know you, if you get down kind of under leveled and you're doing
Mm-hmm.
badly, you can get out of the game quickly and
Mm-hmm.
start a new one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I th-
potentially, I say arena now just because I haven't played it, but with like a little parentheses, arena quick play.
Yeah. Smite's always had this like different following, right? You have like because
Mhm.
Smite's on like console, it's on like Xbox and PlayStation, and it was on Switch on Smite One. But like
Yeah.
it's always been like this kind of like party game in a sense, where they had a bunch of game
Mhm.
modes where people could just come and play and have fun. But then they also have like your competitive like diehard competitive
Yeah.
players, and it's always been kind of separated in that sense. So, what do you think the best way to practice is whenever you're just learning?
Definitely hop on YouTube. I think that is a huge. You'll learn so much so quickly because it is a little confusing. Um, and then I would say, and if you're feeling sociable, find a Discord, find some players that are good, ask for a little bit of help. I'm sure they'll be happy to help you out. Yeah, I mean I think that's the biggest thing is trying to find someone who's played the game, use their knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of content creators trying to make like good like intros to like how to play the game. I mean, it's super easy to find, and I think
Oh, you know the number one way, and I will die on this hill is subscribe to Super Saiyan Smite. He will tell you what you need to know.
Damn! That's what I'm
Tell you.
talking about. I mean, I don't know if that's gonna actually help you get better at the game, but
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I appreciate the shout out, homie.
Hey, but you're bringing great players, knowledgeable players on the podcast. So if they listen, they will learn, and they
I
will
mean,
or get connected to good players.
yeah, I mean, we have a whole Discord, around anything and everything that's gonna be coming really soon.
Hmm.
Um, so, all right. I mean, we're just gonna get down to the like real like basics of playing Smite 2.
Hmm.
And like, how do the controls work in Smite?
Okay, so basically every character has a basic attack and four abilities. Usually people refer to them as one, two, three, and alt. Um, your alt is usually always your best one, but it always has the largest cooldown. Back it up. All your abilities, for the most part, I don't think anyone doesn't not have a cooldown. Gray area on that one, but
There's a lot of
essentially
characters in Smite. Yeah.
all characters have a cooldown for their abilities,
Hmm.
varying in times and all abilities essentially vary in what they do. So that is the very, very basic of each character. What was the question again? Because I'm already getting sidetracked about.
How do the controls work in Smite?
Okay, yeah. So on controller, I'm going to talk for Xbox controller because I don't touch a PlayStation controller. If I remember correctly, your first three abilities are on the standard controls X, A, and B, and your ultimate is Y. It's been a few years since I've used a controller for Smite, but I believe that is correct. Um, and on PC, I think it's just defaults as 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, every PC player changes it to their preferences
Hmm.
for the most part. I won't even say mine because I get absolutely flamed every time I bring it up. Um,
This is a hard question
yeah,
because it's very broad.
it is very broad.
It is very broad, and
Because it also depends on each character. Because like some
right.
characters are focused on their basic attack, which would be your right trigger for controller, usually left click for keyboard mouse, or other people are ability based. So it's that's very hard to say. But I mean, essentially, that's the basic control: is you move your character how you'd move any character in any video game for controller or PC. You just run around. You can't really dodge unless you have an ability that dodges. You have to aim everything. There's not really any auto locking. Most characters' auto attacks are line abilities or a melee in front of them, or not. Sorry, not line ability, just line damage.
Hmm.
Few character usually it stops on the first object or player hit. There are exceptions to that rule, but generically
Yeah,
we'll
unless
call
you're
it
a
that.
Sylvanas main, and then you're gonna confuse everyone.
Yeah, each character is a little bit of different, a little different, little has their own twist on
Hmm.
everything essentially. Um, yeah, I would say that's the basics of how you play,
Okay,
or like of the basic controls.
so you move around. Your third person view. You
Hmm.
have four abilities, which all vary in cooldowns, and
Yep.
then
Your basic attack.
yeah, and then you base attack. That's like the base. Like that's what you need to know.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Can't get more simple than that.
yeah. So, what's different about aiming in Smite compared to some other games, maybe?
Mechanically, it's the same. Point to where you want to damage, and that's where you damage.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing, especially for characters that have ranged autos, there's a lag essentially. It's more realistic in a way. Very gotta be very careful I say that. But basically it's like if you're running and I shoot my auto at where you are at the moment, you will not be there when my auto attack gets to you. So like
Mhm.
there's traveling time. I don't know what the term
Yeah,
is that
yeah. I
I'm
mean, it's
looking
like
for, but
shooting an arrow. Like you have to wait for it
yeah,
to hit the target, and like
yeah. We're like
there's a
some yeah.
yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, it's essentially that. Like the damage is not instantaneous. Melee characters are kind of an exception. I mean, you do have to kind of time your swing. Some characters swing kind of slowly.
Hmm.
Um, so there's like like time the frames essentially, right? For lack of better terms. Um, I'd say that's the biggest for auto attacks. Abilities, once again, range very wide because some people you just got to stand next to the
Hmm.
person and press the ability, and even if they're kind of far away from you, you're still gonna hit them. Some people have auto locking abilities, like
Hmm.
Neath. Her ultimate is you just got to be able to see the person and you're gonna hit them no matter what. um, so it's hard to say because, like I said, every ability is different. Some abilities are cone, some are line, some are tossing them into the air, some of them are mobility. So it's like I would say in that sense, it varies very much from other games because a lot of other games fighting
Yeah.
mechanics are pretty straightforward. Every character is different. There are similarities between them, but no character is the same.
Okay. I'm gonna point out. So there is no third axis in Smite, like some like third person games or
Hmm.
MMOs where your all your abilities are like ground targets, right? So
Yeah.
you extend if you like look up, then you aim further away. But like you're not aiming into the sky, you're not auto attacking into the sky unless we're not going to talk about the new camera that added because that's just weird. Um, but yeah, so it's I think the main difference between this game and other games is that there isn't a third axis. There is no
Hmm.
jumping. There is, I mean, you have a jump, but it's just an
It's an emote.
animation.
Yeah,
It's just a a
an
self
emote.
silence that you troll yourself with all the time. Yeah, and an emote is a good way to put it. Yeah, so you aim along the ground and then you shoot autos straight, and you don't
Hmm.
aim up or down. Do you recommend controller or mouse and keyboard for beginners?
Honestly, mouse and keyboard. It is what this is one of the games where mouse and keyboard is definitely superior to controller. But also do what you want. It's a game. Have fun.
Right.
If you think you might want to be a little more on the competitive side and want to compete in you kind of want to put like you're more of a competitive person and you like to strive to do better and climb the ladder a little bit,
Hmm.
keyboard and mouse is definitely the way to go. But if you're like I just want to play with my friends, kill some dudes and have fun with the homies, like and you play on controller, play on controller. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I played on controller for I don't know how many years, like the majority of my Smite career, and I had plenty of fun doing it.
Yep.
And you
Yep.
can beat a lot of PC players on controller for sure. There's a lot of bad ones out there, but generally this game is better on keyboard mouse.
Yeah. I can agree after making the swap over to keyboard and mouse, like which took a long time. If you just start on keyboard and mouse, you'll just be better off because you're gonna
Yeah.
want to switch over to keyboard and mouse like eventually anyway.
Hmm.
If you decide you want to like go into like a competitive sense of the game.
Hmm.
But enough with like controls and the camera. Let's move into like map like awareness and towers. How do towers work in Smite?
So basically they're there to defend themselves and I guess in a way defend the Titan. Basically they have a circle around them. Any enemy entity that enters into it, they will start to attack. They are single target damage. they will at first attack the first thing to walk into their tower. That's kind of like the base logic of them. So an enemy minion walks in, it's going to start attacking that minion until it kills it, move on to the next minion. You walk into that tower, you're the first thing in that tower, you're going to get targeted, and if it's early in the game, it's going to rip you to shreds. I guess then going into a little more detail about it, because obviously if you just take that logic, you're going to get upset very quickly, because that's not how it only works. Say you're defending your tower, I'm attacking it. We have my minions in there. The tower is attacking the minion. I'm attacking the tower because I want to destroy it. And I start attacking you because you're attacking me. That tower is going to start attacking me right away. It's going to stop targeting the minion and start going for me because I attacked you.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I feel like I'm definitely missing some mechanics. Oh, yeah. So then another part of it is, say you have your minions in there. If it kills all the minions and you and your teammate are in the tower, it's going to start targeting whoever is closest to the tower, I believe. Yeah. I believe that is still how. I don't think they've changed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's still that way.
And I think that's... you're aggroed, yes.
Yeah. As obviously, if you attack someone, that usually takes priority. But once it's locked onto an enemy god, it does not leave that enemy god until that enemy god leaves the tower. So like once it's targeting me, if you're on my team and you attack someone else, it's not going to leave me and go to you. It will stay on me until I walk out of that tower, and then it will go to you.
Can you still die under your own tower?
Yes, absolutely. You can die anywhere in Smite. Remember that. Anywhere. Even in your fountain, you can die.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, if you play Smite and you're playing game mode with towers, you are going to learn very quickly that you can die under tower. It is not a safe haven. It is a defensive haven, and it can do wonders for you, but you will die, and plenty of times people are willing to kill you if it means death themselves.
They really will. So what are phoenixes?
So phoenixes are essentially towers. The key difference is they respawn. Regular towers, once they're destroyed, they do not respawn. That's it for that entire game that you're playing. If you kill a phoenix, 1, it allows you to damage the Titan, and 2, it will respawn after X amount of minutes. I don't know the number off the top of my head. And once it respawns, it spawns in with a small amount of health, and it starts healing. And that just goes also for the phoenix in general. Even if you damage it and you leave, it will slowly start to heal. So I think that's the biggest thing about phoenixes. Yeah. They're also just stronger than other towers.
Yeah. As you knock down towers, and as you like Conquest has 2 sets of towers, and then has a phoenix, and like the next tower that you knock down, it's going to continuously get stronger as you get closer to the Titan.
I guess one thing to mention before we change topics is each tower that is up contributes to the Titan's health. So the more towers that are up, the harder it is to kill the Titan. So rule of thumb, obviously the strategy goes into this. Rule of thumb, destroying more towers before you attack the Titan is better.
Okay.
Rule of thumb, emphasis.
Yeah. And we already kind of talked about this, is what's the Titan and how do you win a match?
The Titan is exactly what it says. It is the Titan. It is the giant entity, creature, monster that's right in front of your fountain where you spawn in. And for newer players, the fountain is literally the little half circle you spawn in where you can buy your items and heal up when you're in it. So it's the big dude in front of you that you got to defend. By killing it, you have to, like I said, kill at least 2 towers in lane and then that phoenix before you can even think about killing the Titan.
Okay. And let's move on to the next section, which is going to be gods and roles and classes. This first question is going to pertain to Conquest specifically. What are the 5 roles in Smite?
So the 5 roles: solo, carry, support, mid lane, and jungle. Right? That was 5, right?
I think I know someone that would stab you by not saying.
I know. And the funny thing is, I literally thought about this. Yes, for new players, so there are certain people in the community that are really particular about how you say the order, and I more or less intentionally right there botched the order as a proper order. Just just to rage bait and get you some comments.
Yeah, I mean, just so like that person doesn't stab me, I'm gonna go ahead and correct, and it's solo, jungle, mid, support, and carry. Thank you.
For new players, it does not matter. It does not matter.
What? I mean, most of these people like do like organizing and stuff, and they like keep notes and stuff, and it's easier just to read if you have it the same every time. It's a very different situation. How are roles different from god classes, or what are classes?
So roles specifically pertain to positions on the conquest map.
Mm,
Your solo lane is essentially self-explanatory in terms of what it is. It's a solo lane. One person will go to it and fight in that lane for the however long that lasts. To get a little more specific on the map, when you're looking at your mini map, you'll see. So like, you're kind of looking at like across the center of the map. You'll see your tower, or I guess I will your tower, the enemy tower, and like
mm,
going across. The soul lane is on the outside, and it's the one where the two enemy and your tower are the closest together. Or to be a little more specific, it's the side of on the fire giant and or your blue buff. That might kind of help
yeah.
put it together. Um, Mid lane is or the mid roll is exactly what it says. It is the middle of the lane. Can't really get that one confused. Middle lane, mid, mid, mid. On the far end, opposite of the solo lane, is the duo lane. It is also the same side as the Gold Fury. It is also the lane where the two towers, your tower and the enemy tower, are the furthest apart from each other. This position is played by two of your teammates. That's why it's called duo. It is the support and carry role that go there. And then the final position is the jungle. The jungle, as I explained before, is kind of that area in between the map. He is a free floating character. He is not tied down to any lane. He kind of runs around the map, ganking, which is a term you'll hear quite often in MOBAs and Smite. It basically means to come up behind the enemy and attack them kind of as a surprise. That's kind of his main role, and also just clearing jungle camps for XP, gold, buff for the teams.
Mm.
That's kind of the gist of the five players. And the second part of that question is what are roles?
What are classes?
What are classes? So classes are kind of pertain to how they organize the gods when you're picking your character. There's also 5 classes. Um, there is the warrior, guardian, hunter, mage, and assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Generally in Smite 2, it's not that big of a deal. It was a bigger thing in Smite 1. Smite 1, you had class buffs, so depending on what class you were, you got extra stats, more or less. That's not a thing in Smite 2. In Now in Smite 2, they really are pushing that any god, or not necessarily any god, but majority of gods can be played in multiple roles. That's kind of the big like selling point with Smite 2 that they're going for. Um, then so let's see, let's just dive into them. So one of them, my personal favorite, is the assassin class. That is generally played as junglers. Some of the, to name a few, it's Susanoo, Thanatos, Nemesis. That kind of grouping of gods are generally assassins and played in jungle.
Mm-hmm.
You will see them in different positions for sure. Like I said, Smite 2 is really pushing to break that whole role break the classes, not the roles. That's still a thing. Mid lane is played by the mage, so just remember that mid mage. The biggest thing about these characters is they're typically ability based, and most of their abilities are AoE damage, so like big area damage, high burst damage. Not really focused on their auto attacks as much, but like I said, Smite 2 is really evolving away from that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you see Susanoo in mid a lot. You see Neath, but I guess she'll be built ability based. So that doesn't count. So then hopping over the dual lane, you have the Hunter playing as the carry role and Guardians playing as the support role. Your Guardian slash support is usually just a big tank, a lot of defense, helping the team out, making big plays, but not necessarily getting a lot of kills. A lot of assists, not many kills. The hunter is the late game king. They are usually focusing on their auto attacks. That's kind of generally what they're doing.
Hmm.
They destroy tanks in the late game. They don't do a lot of damage early on. Uh, like I said, they destroy tanks and they are also ripping objectives in the late game. That is their big thing. They are high damage late game. And then hopping over to the soul lane is kind of like the hybrid position. Your character's usually really good at like boxing with other people. You're tanky enough with some sustain to survive skirmishes. Also doing enough damage to where people can't ignore you, as opposed to like a guardian. I think I hit all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that was a better explanation than I could do. And yeah, and you can compare these classes, which was a big thing in Smite One, to like if you're playing like Overwatch, to like your tanks and your and like all these characters. But yeah, Smite Two's been
Hmm.
doing a decent job. Like they've been creating the game so that way, like they're breaking down these barriers so any character can be played in any role, which is
Hmm.
their like goal. Or like it can be played in multiple roles and not just like
Yeah,
set in stone, which makes people angry whenever you pick it and it's not what it's made for.
yeah.
um but that's been a main focal point of them. So do new characters need to pick like a role that they play early on, or yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna leave that question like that.
I would say generally to start off, it's kind of good to sit in one role. I mean, you might want to like dip your toes in every kind of role right off the battle, maybe a little bit to kind of just like feel it out. Give everything an option, see what you kind of like. But for early learning, I would say it is good to kind of stick to one position. I recommend staying away from jungle. I think that's one of the harder positions, and you gotta know what you're. There's a lot more like meta gaming to it, essentially. Higher skill ceiling, I would say also.
Hmm.
So it definitely is good early on to stick to one role, but as you get comfortable and kind of learn stuff, you definitely do want to branch out to continue to get better because it is good to know the other roles and how other characters work and stuff like that. Kind of what I was saying before about branching out from one character, similar with um the role.
Yeah. Well, I think we've yapped a little bit about gods and roles. So let's get into items and builds. I mean, let's start off with the first thing that you want to pick up is a starter item. What's a starter item?
I feel like we should back it up a
We
little
should
bit
back it
because
up.
we haven't even mentioned what items and builds are. We kind
Okay,
of
what
skipped
is an
over that
item?
one. So you back it more. We builds because I've tried explaining this game. Who don't know what MOBAs are, and I'm talking about you gotta build stuff in each round, and they literally think you gotta like build like piece by piece, like build a tower or something. Like you're
Okay.
hammering nails in the game. So I think that's a good one thing to clear up for people that really don't know anything about MOBAs. Build, when you hear that term, refers to items that you buy in game with in game money, not any real money involved in this at all, in-game money to enhance your character. Either that's power, defense, cooldowns, different little passives that boost your guy here and there.
Hmm.
That's what a build is. So essentially, you gotta buy 6 items. I believe that's what it is now, because you
Six
get your
its and
starter
a
and
starter.
6 items
So
and a starter.
seven
Sorry, it
items,
changed from Smite
technically.
One, so
Yeah, it did.
I get a little I forget sometimes because I don't count. So it's 6 items and a starter. Um, every everyone gets the same amount of items. Everyone has access to every single item in the game. So at the beginning of the game, you start off with getting what you mentioned, a starter. It's called a starter for the reason because the item you want to start with. Um, Basically, there's like a couple options. I mean, everyone has every option, but each item relatively pertains to what role you're playing. So, like for me, I play jungle majority of the time. My options generally, what I want to stick to are Boomba's dagger or Golden Dagger. Sorry,
Hmm.
they're similar from Smite One, but the names have changed, so I'm still not 100% on. And then Boomba's Cudgel.
Hmm.
Not going into them too deep, but each one kind of like gives you a little power, gives you a little attack speed. You gain things from killing jungle camps. It's essentially focused on that jungling role to help you
Hmm.
in the early game. Then like I said, each lane has their perspective item that you generally should get for that
Hmm.
role. Um, So I think that pretty much covers starters pretty well. Going to items. Items are just pretty much items that you buy. There's a whole list of them. You can kind of filter out by what you're looking for. Like I said, you can do your different types of power,
Mm-hmm.
defense, cooldown, penetration, auras. There's a bunch of different things. Health, HP, health regen, mana regen, um, actives, which is basically sometimes items have these things, like I said, they're called actives. That basically you just press a button and it does something.
Mm-hmm.
You can read through the items and figure out what they do, but basically you press the button, it does something. It goes down on a cooldown, and once the cooldown's done, you can use that thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they just got rid of the mushroom, right? As everyone calls it.
They didn't get rid of it. It's
Basically
still in there.
they didn't. Okay, I thought I heard someone saying they got rid of it. Maybe it just got nerfed. Basically, you press the button, whatever you bind that button to, you drop a mushroom, and it's just a burst of healing for your teammate. That's an active, essentially.
Yeah.
Like I said, yeah, you buy items with gold. The way you earn gold is by one, you're just continuously earning gold throughout the game, but you get it from killing minions, gods,
Mm-hmm.
jungle camps. You can sometimes find golden chalices lying around the gold sphere. You can pick up, gives you and your team a little bit of gold. But the biggest thing is minions, kills, and objectives and towers. That's how you get gold. And you can only buy items when you're in the fountain. And once again, the fountain is where you start at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
So
think that covered items pretty well.
that covers items pretty well. Everyone starts with the same amount of gold at the beginning of a match, and then now, as you gain gold, you try to out farm other people on the map. That's what the map's for. You're contesting for all the farm that's on the map to try to press your lead and to try
Yeah.
to gain more gold. And as you gain more gold, you buy more items. Those items give you power or defense or whatever you need. You buy it to make your character. You kind of create your class basically. So starters specifically are what set your character or set your set your character into a class, which kind of then you build towards whatever you want. So what is a relic? Do you know what a relic is?
I do actually know what a relic is. I did not. A relic is the best way to describe it. It's also like another item, it's kind of like an active that I explained before. The difference is you don't truly buy it; it's free. But once you pick one, you can't change it. You're stuck with it for the entire game. I think there's there's maybe like 10 you can choose from. Not even. I don't think there's that many.
No,
It's
I think
probably
there's
two
like
yet.
6.
Yeah, it's
right
probably like
now.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's just an active. It's just like a one-time use item, and then it goes on cooldown for the most part. Um, I guess to put it really simple is like Blink is a pretty basic one. No one really buys it right now because combat
I buy
Blink.
it almost
Pain.
every game. I buy it every game. That's so fun. Blink is like your Flash in like League of Legends or Dota. It's something
Yeah.
that like Dota and League of Legends. I believe you always have Flash. It's kind of like
I think so.
I think you select it at the beginning. It's kind of like you like. I don't know what they're called in League of Legends, but you can either select it like at the beginning.
Let us know in the comments what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one is another classic that people pick is purification beads. Basically, when you get hit with crowd control, which we didn't really go into that. I think that's next episode, but spoilers.
Yeah.
Basically, if you get like stunned and you're not able to attack, you use your beads. It clears any effect like that on you, so that you keep playing the game. I mean, yeah, that's relics. It's basically a one-time use or one-time pick.
One-time pick. Yeah, you can't sell it once you buy it.
You're stuck with it.
You're stuck with it for the rest of the game, and it does it does something for you every 120 seconds, I believe.
Yeah. If you're new to the game and you're not playing support, go with beads. You can't go wrong.
This is true. Is auto buy okay for beginners?
Yes. If this was Smite 1, I'd say no. Smite 2, it is infinitely better. It's not perfect. You can complain about it all day you want. Yeah, sure. It's decent. it gets the job done for beginners, because even if you're going to complain about it, some people do complain about it. I bet you it is better than someone who has no idea what they're doing,
Right.
because the store, especially because learning the game, there's a lot to learn in the game. Items can 100% be overwhelming.
Hmm.
Navigating the store, just figuring out where things are, even if you have a build in front of you or someone's telling you what to buy, it takes a lot of time to find the items, and time is pretty precious in Smite. You don't want to be sitting in Fountain for too long,
Hmm.
just scrolling and like, oh, where's this item? I gotta buy it. So for new players, I pretty much always tell them in Smite 2, run with auto build. It will get the job done for the level you're playing at. Honestly, it'd probably be better than what the gremlins you're playing with are building.
Yeah. I, on the contrary to what you said, and
Mm.
from what, like, this is, I mean, this is what I've heard from, like, Pon Pon and, what's his name? The guy who runs, um,
I don't know
the
anyone.
podcast. I can't remember his name. But they were saying that, like, the systems that they put into auto buy for Smite 1 was actually, like, it kept up with current times of Smite, and, like, always had updated version of auto build. I mean, this is just what I've been told. Don't shoot the
Bro, I've
messenger.
seen some wicked builds from auto build on Smite 1, and I don't mean that as a compliment. Like,
Yeah,
wild thing. So
yeah.
I from experience, I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is what I've been told. They were like kind of harping on how good auto build, and how their system kind of broke down auto build and how they built it. Leveling in gold. We've already talked about on this a little bit, but how do you level up during a match?
I guess, yeah, we really passed over leveling. We talked about gold. Um, so leveling is a really, really important part of the game. It is everything in the game, because leveling and the gold you get pretty much go hand in hand. Because however you get gold is how you get experience. By getting experience, yeah, it's like every other game that you level up. Get enough experience, you level up. Get more experience, you level up. So what's super super important about leveling up is that every time you level up, you get to upgrade one of your abilities, which is absolutely massive. Or more importantly, you can between levels for levels 1, 2, 3, and level 5, you get to unlock a new ability. That's also huge. So yeah, go around killing minions, killing gods, getting camps. That's getting your XP. You're gonna get your levels up, and levels are key to the game. It is so important. You do not want to be fighting people if you're under leveled, because at that point you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Obviously, there's times when you gotta do it. You can pull it off. It works, but like you got to be a lot more careful. You're not starting off on the right foot if you're under leveled. You want to be out farming. You want to be getting more gold. You want to have more items. You want to be a higher level, have stronger abilities. That is the key to winning Smite.
Yeah. I think it's like 200 plus, like, HP per level or something like that. You start off very, like,
Yeah.
like, you're a little baby. Everyone starts out at level 1 whenever you start. And then, yeah, you gain up to a max of 20 levels throughout a match.
hmm
And then, like, once everyone reaches level 20, everyone reaches, like, a full build, and, like, then everyone's at kind of at a standstill, I guess you could say. Which, I mean, that's kind of this. You try to get. I'm rambling. I'm
The
rambling.
thing is, I want to correct you a little bit. I disagree with the standstill, because now once you hit level 20, you can't upgrade, and you have a max build. You can always be buying power potions, and those stack now, so you can always be kind of scaling a little
Yeah,
bit.
until you get 3, and then you're at a standstill.
I didn't know they stopped
It'll
at
it
3.
only stacks to 3. Yep.
Well, that doesn't say it in the description, so that's
Right. I
misleading.
mean, that's the truth.
The meta gaming that you gotta figure out.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm getting more power, so I feel like I'm getting more power. Therefore, I am getting more power.
That's what I'm saying.
Placebo effect is real.
Yeah, and we've already touched on this as well. What gives you gold?
Yep, same thing as I said. XP, killing gods, waves, towers, objectives. Basically, if you can kill it, you can break it. It's gonna give you XP and gold.
And gold. So gold and XP are different.
They are different. Gold is used for buying items from the shop, and XP is used for leveling up your abilities / just overall boosting your character's stats.
Yep, and every monster and every jungle camp and every minion and every character on the map is worth some type of XP and gold.
Correct.
When should you back to spend your gold?
This one's tricky. I'll say this. If you have 3,000 gold, you've waited too long. You know who you are. um, you don't want, honestly, as a new player, you're going to find yourself backing to heal up more than you're going to be backing to buy items. So you kind of, and by say backing, that means like hitting the recall button, sending yourself back to the fountain so you can heal up. So odds are you'll be going back to heal up before you can buy an item. It's really hard to say specifically because it's kind of a vibe. You never want to, if you can help it, you never want to back to the fountain if you have a minion wave out in front of you to kill. Because minion waves are the #1 source for XP. It is nothing beats it. It is the cream of the crop right there. So you never want to back if you have a minion wave to kill. If you do, you're just gonna be hurting yourself. So you kind of want to time it with that, like post killing a minion wave, or if you just killed whoever you're going against, you just killed them. That would be a decent time to go back because you can go back, get your item, come back up, and hopefully beat them out to lane, still get that XP. Like I said, if you're hitting 3,000 gold, you waited too long. You don't want to go back too early. You also, I guess, if you don't need to be backing for health, you don't want to go back. Obviously, if you don't have enough gold to buy the next tier of the item, because the way items work is like you have your top tier item, and to get that item, you kind of have to buy the smaller versions of it to essentially get to that, make up that higher strong item that you want. And the smaller items are obviously cheaper, but you got to buy like a couple of them before you can get that main item. So you don't want to be backing before you can buy them, but like just like the lower items are pretty cheap. If you come back with if you're backing with 500 gold strictly to buy something, not really worth it. I would say shoot between like 1,500 around that area. That would be my very good players take that with a grain of salt. Trying to, it's a good starting point, I guess. But I would say it's more important of what's going on in the game at the moment. Is your team trying to destroy an objective? Don't be backing. Go help them out. Do you have a bunch of farm and camps and minions to kill? Don't be backing. Clear that stuff. But also, don't be waiting. If you have 3,000 gold, get your ass back there. Buy something.
Yeah, for sure. And I lost my train of thought. Let's move on to objectives and buffs. I need to write stuff down as I do this, so that way I can But let's talk about objectives and buffs. What are jungle buffs and who should grab them?
So jungle buffs reside in the jungle, and there are a handful of them. Those are, I'm not gonna count all of them, but I think there's four for. I guess there's technically 8, but there's 4. But oh no, because there's more in Smite 2. Technically, there's a couple. We're not even gonna get into it.
Yeah, that doesn't make any
sense. Basically, yeah, they're just camps that are there for the team. Most jungle camps, you're going to leave for your jungler to clear. That's their source of XP because they don't have a lane to kill minions. Kind of the exception is what's known as the purple buff, as most people call it. That's by the duo camp. The hunter, he's going to clear that one with his support pretty much all the time. Pretty much leave it for him. The blue buff, honestly, it's kind of 50-50. As of now, the way the game is, that's where you want to start at the beginning of the game, and you want to help your solo laner out. Most solo laners want you to help get that, so help secure it for that your teammate. Some solo laners get really mad if you clear it. So, I don't know what to tell you about that one. Rule of thumb,
right.
Help secure it for your team. Help them out. Let your teammate know that, hey, I'm heading over to knock this, come share the XP with me. So then the red buff, which is kind of by mid lane, that's for the mid laner. The speed buff is all yours. Yellow, as sometimes it's called. So those are the general buffs, but then there's like harpy camps, which are basically like the humanoid creatures with wings. That's a little different. Those are kind of all over the map.
Yeah, every camp's a buff
The
now.
Yeah, I know. That's why, as I thought about it
Yeah,
more, I went into Smite One brain, and then as I thought
yeah.
about it more, I was like, wait a second, everything has a buff. So basically, those guys have,
I
they drop
miss my
little
support
shields
buff.
essentially.
I feel
Yeah, they drop
useless
they
as
drop
a
little
support.
shields. So basically, the ones in like the middle of the map, for the most part, leave it for your jungler. Let them have it. The ones that are on the outside of the map, if they're on your lane, they're yours to take. Like
Hmm.
jungler shouldn't be touching those ones. Those are for you.
Okay.
Uh, and yeah, pretty much all the other jungle camps, leave it for your jungler. He doesn't have a lane. Help the guy out.
And do you know what
uh,
each red buff and blue buff and purple buff and speed buff do?
Gosh, and Smite 1, yeah.
I mean, it's
Smite 2. Let's see. So the purple one, I believe, is like essentially a bleed or a burn, right? And it procs
uh
on.
is
Am
it?
I wrong?
I'm pretty sure it gives you lifesteal. It gives you attack speed. And I don't know if it boosts your damage. I'm honestly not sure. I haven't.
I could have swore it does.
It
It's like a
might.
burn.
I mean, like it kind of like a mannequins from
Kind
Smite
of.
One.
I think
Okay.
it procs on abilities and autos.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
I'm pretty sure about that, but I could be wrong. The yellow, is it even a speed buff these days?
it is a
Honestly,
movement speed buff.
it is a movement speed.
It's a
I
movement
wasn't
speed
sure
buff.
if it was cooldown.
Eh,
I know it's Smite One. It's had cooldown in the past. I knew all these at one point,
Yeah.
obviously, but I haven't kept. I've forgotten them because they've changed throughout Smite One, especially when Smite One Hell was
Game
Tiki. So now
modes,
it's all a blur to me.
conquest, the jungle.
Because the blue is
Um,
mana still. It gives you mana. Does it give you cooldowns as well?
it's cooldown and mana. Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it in the wiki. But I
Yeah,
don't see
and I
it.
believe the purple one it gives you a little bit of attack speed and basic attack damage.
Yeah. Do they not have it
But I
on
could
here?
be wrong. Chat, correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, that it. I don't think
More
it actually
importantly,
has it.
just let the buffs go to the respective player,
Hmm.
and you'll be fine.
Yep. Yeah, and then red buff is a dot damage, and penetration, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the penetration is right. Anywho, what is the
We're supposed
gold
to be
fury? What
experts.
does it do?
Gold Fury, self-explanatory. It is a fury full of gold. You kill it, and it gives your team a bunch of gold. It is the second most difficult objective. Um, Especially early on, you're not soloing that thing. You will need 3 people at least. Better to have 4. Um,
So a team objective.
yeah, the team objective. It is located on the duo side of the map. It's surrounded by kind of a bunch of gold aesthetic. You can't miss it. It's in a neutral zone halfway between both titans. Once you kill it, it then turns into the Oni Fury, I think. It could,
Um,
it could
ye,
be.
yes. I mean, it's the gold fury, and then it turned. No, there's no Oni fury in Smite 2.
There's no Oni
It
Fury.
was
Sorry,
yeah.
Smite One
It's
brain.
it after the third one, it turns into ancient fury.
So it's 3. Yeah. Okay. So it's 3 Gold Furies in a row, and then it turns into
Hmm.
Ancient Fury. And Ancient Fury, when it first came into Smite 2, it would disable Phoenixes or a tower or something like that, and then it debuffed them. And I don't know if that ever. I don't. I think it's changed again, but I'm not. I'm not up to date on what it's doing these days.
Yeah, they just nerfed it, so it's not debuffing it as much.
Okay,
So
that's
you
what I
do
thought.
slightly less damage to it, and yeah, I mean, I think you just do slightly less damage to it.
You mean do more damage to it?
You do more damage to it. That's the general
Yeah.
buff of the Ancient Fury.
Yeah.
It basically like debuffs the Phoenix to be
Hmm.
like less protection-y.
Yeah.
If that's a word.
Yeah. Rinse
Um,
and repeat that cycle.
yeah. And what is Fire Giant?
Fire Giant, the big kahuna
Bec-
of um of the Smite world. It is on the solo lane side. It is what you would picture as a fire giant. It's kind of what it is, a big fiery giant. It is a massive buff for your team. It is a key objective of Conquest. You will have many fights over the fire giant. If your team can secure it, it gives you a huge buff for basically ending game. It will give basically if you're in a stalemate, you secure this thing, it will give you the edge you need to win the game.
Do you know the buffs that it gives you?
Increase damage,
Mm-hmm.
increase health and mana regen, and I don't know beyond that if there's anything else.
And protections, and it
Protections,
improves structure damage on your team. In Smite 2. I don't know if that was
damage
that.
buff.
I don't know if that was the same in Smite 1.
I think it was.
And that's located on the solo side of
Yes.
the Conquest map.
Yep.
So, we've covered a lot of the basics of.
Hold on.
No,
How are you
you're
gonna
not
do my
done.
boy Pyroman so dirty like that?
Wait. Yeah. What's
Yeah, you can't just brush.
Pyromancer?
You
Yeah, I
can't
didn't
brush
even
over
have him on
Pyromancer.
here.
Oh, the Pyromancer. He is right next door to the fire
OP.
giant. He is just a little guy that honestly, pretty early on, someone can solo it. I guess maybe
It's
not
on par with
early
Gold
on.
Fury.
Feels weaker to me, in my opinion.
It might be. It might
I
do
feel
less
like it's definitely
damage.
weird. Two people
Yeah.
for sure can take it. Basically just a nice little boost for your team, XP gold. It also drops a runic bomb, which is great for destroying towers. You basically run in, drop it on a tower, does a big bomb, explodes, and a lot of damage to the tower. Simple version of what it does. And that doesn't spawn into like I think 10 minutes into the game, something like that.
10 minutes sounds about right. Yeah.
Which that goes for all three objectives we talk about. They all have a timer before they spawn in. I think Fire Giant's 15.
They don't have it on the wiki yet.
It was 15 at one point in Smite 2 or Smite 1. I know that, so I'm assuming it's the same.
Yeah. So Smite 2, the Pyromancer is much stronger than it was in Smite 1. It's kind of like a win condition at times because not only whenever you kill it, it does, like 25% of a Phoenix's health, I think. Or maybe it's like 15%, 20, something like that. It does a healthy amount chunk to the lowest structure on the enemy side. And then it also drops the bomb, which can also be used to open doors that are on the map permanently. Which is interesting. I don't know. I haven't actually blew up a door before.
I've never done that.
Yeah. I mean, now I kind of want to, but I know you can do that. All right, let's get in. I mean, now that I'm not going to be, cut off.
Sorry.
Let's get into Smite noob questions. So, like anyone like new to the game, like that might not know what they're talking about. This should be like your like facts, I guess, of Smite. Why isn't my tower protecting me?
It is protecting you. It just will never do. It will always feel like it does more damage to you than what it's doing to the person attacking you. But like I mentioned in the beginning, if someone's running at you under tower, if there's minions there, it will not target that player until he's attacked you or the minions have died. So once he attacks you, then it's gonna target him. But there is a firing like there's a cooldown between the tower's auto attacks, basically. So there are times where he'll come in, and if you're low health, kill you, and if he has a dash, he'll jump out and maybe only take one shot from the tower. So it is protecting you. It just when you're on defense, it never feels like it's doing enough, but it is defending you.
What are relics and why do I need them?
I feel like we kind of touched on what they are, why you need them, because they're free and free is good. As I mentioned about purification beads, it is a way to get you out of bad situations. There's a lot of crowd control in Smite, which is basically stunning your character, grabbing your character, pushing your character, knocking your character up, and beads will stop that. Especially for some abilities, you have to use it before you get hit, but essentially, it will stop you from not being able to play the game for a brief period of
Mhm.
time. So I think that alone points out how important it is. There's other ones that are used for other strategy reasons, but beads is probably the number one purchased relic in all of Smite.
Yeah. And can I just play Arena forever?
If you want to, it's a game. It is a free game. You do whatever makes you happy.
And what does VGS mean?
Ah, crap. I forgot this one. I guess I forget what it stands for. It's like virtual global system or vocal global system. I don't
Voice
remember.
guided system.
Voice guided system. Basically, it's a way to talk to your teammates without having to use your mouth. It's like you press a couple buttons in a certain pattern, and it has like predetermined phrases. Like it's saying like one like attack left lane, defend left lane, I'll gank left lane, help, enemies in middle lane, things like that. And like it
Mhm.
uses predetermined like pre-recorded voice lines from the character, which is kind of fun. Um, to just communicate to your teammates.
Yeah.
You rock, cancel that.
You rock, cancel that. You'll hear that one a couple of times. Um, do I need to memorize every god?
No, you don't need to. If you want to get better at the game, and more so, if you want to get, especially if you want to get competitive at the game, uh, it is definitely helpful. But you don't have to. You'll probably learn the gods as you play if you enjoy playing the game, just because you'll face them, you'll see them, you'll remember what they do. But you don't need to. You don't need to do it to have fun. That's for sure.
Why do I keep dying?
Dude, skill issue. That's all I can tell you.
Skill issue.
No, I guess what you mean is like, why am I dying so quickly, or why am I just getting what feels like insta kill? The number one thing, I feel like I kind of harped on this earlier, is levels. Pay attention to levels. If someone has 2, 3 levels on you, they are gonna destroy you if they're decent at the game. That is a huge buff they have on you. So I'd say that's the biggest thing is focus on that. Or if you're getting jumped by like 3 people, you're not meant to survive that. You're meant to die. So at that point, game mechanics.
Yeah.
Know your positioning, pay attention to the map, try to understand situations of the game where it's like, hey, last time I was in this kind of situation, they all jumped me. Let's figure out how I can not be in this situation again. Be aware of what's going on, where people are on the map as much as possible.
Yeah. Since you said positioning, what does it mean to be in position?
So position kind of refers to the roles a little bit that I was talking about before. Like, so the hunter, his positioning belongs in the duo lane, as I explained before. But I guess more accurately, what positioning in that sense is your positioning where you're positioned on the map prospectively to your team and the enemy team. So the hunter is a very weak character in terms of defense and health. He's a ranged character. So he does not want to be standing in front of the tank at the front line, at the edge of the tower,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get in there, taking a bunch of damage because he's very weak. He's not meant to do that. A good position for him is behind his support and his
Mm-hmm.
guardian. Let the guardian take the damage. That's what he's meant to do. Position yourself in a good spot away from them so that you can get as because you can maximize your damage and minimize the damage taken.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing about that, diving into positioning a little bit more, is like not pushing so high up. Like if I'm pushing all the way at the enemy's Phoenix and my team is on Fire Giant, I'm in a bad position where it's like there are some strategies to that, but it's like you need to be aware of the map of where the any players are because you're very, very vulnerable. You can get ganked or attacked very easily. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd say those are the aspects of the word positioning in Smite.
Yeah, and this would pertain to the state of the map. Like if you have lost the tower, you can no longer step
Mm-hmm.
too far out. If you're like if they have pressure on your side of the map. So
Mm-hmm.
it changes based on the like state of the game.
Yeah.
Which, is what makes Smite so hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's always changing. So, what is penetration?
So penetration is essentially the counter to defense. What?
The last time I asked you what was penetration, I just before the show.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I thought you like asked, yeah. Moving on from that.
Moving on from that.
That'll be a little bonus feature. Anyways, yeah. So penetration, it's the counter to defense. So I can slap on a ton of power and all this stuff, but if once people start building a bunch of defense, I'm gonna be doing less and less damage. Basically, penetration removes that protections to an extent. Um, I, I for some I'm second guessing myself in Smite 2, but I'm just gonna go for it. So there's essentially two types of penetration, right? Is there still two types in Smite 2? I'm second guessing myself.
I mean, there is, but there's not. There's not items. Um, so I'm pretty
Because
sure there
it's just
is
percent.
only percent pin now.
Yeah, that's what I was
There's
gonna get.
no
Okay,
flat
I've
pin.
got
Some
mhm.
characters have flat pin built into their kit.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, Smite 1 and Smite 2 is the overlap
Yeah,
in my brain
there's
a
a
lot.
big difference. Yeah.
Yeah, so in Smite 2, there's only percent penetration.
Hmm.
Basically, I have an item, it says 20% penetration. That means 20% of that person's protections are negligible. Wow.
Negligible.
Thank you. Got my
I
tongue
got
twisted
you.
up on that one. Yes, I'm not even gonna try to say it because I'm gonna fail again. Yeah, that worked. That's just that 20% gone right off the top,
Hmm.
which is extremely important for people that are building power. You penetration will be your best friend. You need it. Don't forget about it. Power is great. You need it too, but don't forget about penetration.
Yeah, and I mean now that there's only 2% pin items in the game for like tanks,
Mhm.
or it's fairly easy to add them into your build, and be able to hit your tanks a lot harder. That leads
Mhm.
me into my next question, which I didn't plan on asking. There's also like percentage health damaging items too.
Mhm.
Which will, I mean, I guess I'm not even going to ask a question. I'm just going to mention it just because we
Yeah, I
were
was like,
talking
you
about that.
gotta
Like
explain it
it's like the
already.
equivalent. Basically, you do a percent damage or percent health damage on top of like whatever your build is. So
Mhm.
if the enemy team is tankier or healthier, not tankier, you can be more healthy or you can be more tanky depending on what you built, because
Yeah.
there's items that boost your health and boost your protections.
Mhm.
So basically, percent attacks health instead and attacks
Yeah.
it onto your damage.
Yeah.
Um,
See, just to elaborate on that, basically, as a tank, there's basically two ways to get stronger. You build defense or you build more health. I mean, you're gonna build both of them essentially, but those are your two routes that you're
mhm,
prioritizing. So percent pen and percent health are kind of the ways to counter that.
mhm. I mean, now that we're getting into the builds and everything, there's healing, there's anti-healing, there's like counters to like everything. It's
Yeah.
very
I try to keep things balanced.
yeah, just like this podcast, we're gonna try to keep this balance and move on to the next segment instead of just bringing stuff up. That's actually the gist of Smite. That's kind of like everything that I have written down right here. I'm sure we could have a whole nother show explaining everything more in detail, but I just
Hmm.
wanted to get everyone's head around the intro to Smite. Like, what is the core fundamentals of Smite? And Bean, you were a great help, a great asset whenever it came to this episode, and
Thank
I
you.
had a
Thank you.
ton of fun
Hmm.
making this with you.
Yeah, it's been
Um,
great. Thanks for having me.
yeah, thank you. And I mean, do you stream still? Do you do anything on Discord? Is there any links you wanna
Um,
pass out?
I pretty much, like I said before, since I had my son was born in January, I haven't been. I still play, but I haven't been posting anything as
Mhm.
of late. I have all my content out there. I've created a fair amount of guides. If you want to check them out, everything's just Clogged Bean. That's where you can find me. Twitch,
Clog Bean.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah.
Not on, not on Twitter. But that's it. So if you're interested, go for it.
Yeah, and
Who knows
but
what who knows what I'll be doing in my next adventure. So
yeah, I mean, I'm
stay
excited
tuned.
for Bean's next adventures. I've started to like drag him back in to play some more ranked with me or casuals.
This is true. This is true.
We're working on it. Well, do you have any final tips for like advice for new players or like people to get better at the game, like before we close out?
Don't get overwhelmed. It can definitely feel overwhelming in the beginning. Um, it's definitely a fun game. I mean, this is why you have people that have an absurd amount of hours logged into this game. I mean, I think I have well over 3,000,
Yes, yes,
which is not uncommon
yeah,
for people that play this game. It's highly addicting once you get into it. So yeah, don't, and especially biggest thing is like use social media to find people to play with. That's the biggest thing. I've met some amazing people, yourself included. Speaking of
facts.
people that you meet through
Thank you.
social media playing this game, um, yeah, find your group. If you don't have anyone to play with, or your friends are lame and don't want to play, use social media and find people out there. There's plenty of great people out there.
Yeah,
So that's my advice.
yeah. Well, thank you again. It was lovely having you.
Thank you.
And before we end, I'm going to ask you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. We talked about at the beginning of the show. We're talking about at the end of the show. Like, smack those buttons. Keep that notification bell on, and we will have a episode post every week, Tuesday
Yeah,
at
yeah.
8 a.m. Thank you all. Have a lovely evening, good morning, good night, whatever time it is for you. Peace out.